Gordon Lightfoot. Before we get started, yeah, take that in. Before we get started, I got one quick story. I remember to this day that my father said to me, and we always thought, me and Chris, he's never been starstruck, my dad. And I remember to this day, the first time he met you, Gord, he said to me and Chris, he's like, wow, boys, I just met a real legend. And he's never been starstruck, and I will never forget that story. So, the man that doesn't need an introduction, Gord.
I was just saying, the recognition that he did not get, you know, at that particular point in time because of the ruling, you know, about the Canadian content that went into effect about 1970, and a lot of people got put on the back burner in those days, and I think that Bobby got put on the back burner a little bit because those who made it without the benefit of that ruling, you know, deserve a lot of credit. And I got to tell you, I've been looking through. I looked through his song list this afternoon. I've been looking at it. It's a huge output of material. I don't know how they had all this fun that they're talking about and had time to write the songs. You know, but the songwriting is I mean, I could go through titles from, you know, Fortune Teller to Indian Giver to, you know, on down the line to remembering hearing them on the radio. You know, hearing Bobby Curtola for the first time, like through the car radio, or the song Fortune Teller, and you know, finally when I got to meet Bobby, it was out of CTV, just as CTV was coming into being, and it was run basically by the Bassett family, and Johnny F. had a show called After Four. The female counterpart there was Carol Goss. Anybody remember that show? As a result of that, he did a whole series of little rock shows for CTV at that time. So he actually ran a television series too in the middle of all of this. He made a great number of albums. Was it 14 original albums? All kinds of singles were taken from those albums. They got farmed out into the States. I don't know if he ever really got accepted by the industry there, like on a management level, as some of us were lucky enough to have happen to us. We would get an American manager, you know. I don't know if he ever had that. He had a great manager. He named a song after her. I'm trying to think of her name. When he was 15, 16, he actually had a manager at age, you know, 16, 17 years old. You know, when you have a band like Bobby and the Bobcats, you need a manager. In any case, I did meet him there, and I was impressed, and he invited me out to a meet and greet that he was having at a new place. It was the Eden Center out by Dufferin at 401, the new plaza. Back around about 1963 or 1961, I don't know. I was still struggling. I wouldn't call it struggling because I was having a good time too. I was writing songs too. I was writing songs too at the same time as Bobby and his brothers were writing songs. And his brother did a lot of the songwriting. I don't know if you knew that, but he did. And, or his cousins, I don't know. Yes, he's got quite a few relatives. There's a similarity. I think he has an extended family, sort of like the same way that I do. I don't want to go too long about this, but I noticed this young guy handling this meet and greet, and he had fans everywhere, and he signed every autograph that was that he had to do. They were taking this picture that was going on, that he was out doing he had a new album out, and there was a single out. I think maybe Rosalie had already added it down at CKLW. I don't know. Maybe they'd already added it at Chum here in Toronto. I don't know. He got the opportunities, like I got the opportunities. Whether he got them stateside, I don't know. Maybe the label that he was farmed out to was not powerful enough a record company to pump that stuff out, you know. I got lucky that way. I got with a great record company who was good at pumping out that product, you know. They got to know how to do that. Great record companies know how to pump out the, you know. If you could have gone with RCA or Warner's as I did, or one of the other great companies down there, it could have been, well, he was known all over the world anyway, so. Because of the amount of problem that he made. He made 5 albums in 5 years at one point. I guess that would caps up. Seeing at that meet and greet was very impressive. And I was down in the club one day about 5 years ago. I heard Gord. I looked over and I didn't quite know who he was because I hadn't seen him for about maybe 48, 50 years. And he came over to me and some people went and he was working with him on one of his charity events. He was helping people. He was doing a lot of shows. I don't know if he had an agent booking him on a regular roll-off of events such as I have, or concerts, you know, or things like that. But he was busy, and they were still writing songs. They were still making records. And the next time I saw him was just about 2 months ago down at I was with Andy Kim and a few other people, and Bobby and I met down on Saturday afternoon during Music Week. And we had quite a rare old time, a few laughs. Bobby had a great personality, a great little sense of humor, you know. It just sort of rolled off him. And he was the same way too when I saw him back when he was 18, 19 years old. He had it then, you know. You just knew there was something special. And I guess to top it off, I got an idea from Bobby. I went to Nashville to record. I knew I was right doing it at the time, but more recently, just a few years ago, I was driving out to the airport to go out and do some concerts, and I had some kind of a CBC special on featuring Bobby Curtola's older tunes. And I heard five of his tunes in a row, just one right after the other, on CBC one day. And I tell you, the consistency of what they did and the people that they worked with, it was very much like the dawning of a Justin Bieber era. I mean, I'm not kidding. I'm not saying that loudly. There was something very special there, and they got the good players, and they got the sound, and above all, they had the songs, and they got the songs. They got the 3 big A's, and the song, the arrangement, and the vocal. And that was Bobby Curtola, great kid.
Thank you. And that's the kind of power of music that we have in Bobby Curtola. It's just amazing that we sort of come to grips with mortality and reality, and we realize that there's a cycle going on. And you don't want to think negatively or think sadly, but we're losing some really, really great artists, and the fact that we don't salute them early enough in their careers is a real tragedy. So let's make this evening a turning point. Let's never forget our Canadian artists. Thank you. Thank you again, Gord. When I was working at Chum, Gord had his production office for Early Morning Rain right on the corner next door to Chum. And there were many times that Gord and I would walk across the street. You know the one I'm talking about, Roger and Brian. over the jingles, and just another stroll in the park. Hi Gord, hi Duffer. It was just so cool. Just, you know, just so human, so memorable for people like myself and others who are all part of this great music industry intertwined with the broadcasting industry.